Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode on 539. So today we are in Zanesville, Indiana at the Hoverstock Cemetery. And yeah, I found this place a few months ago, thought it looked really interesting. It's looking even more interesting as we're approaching whatever this is here. If it's a memorial, it looks like a large crypt. And I think this might be maybe the best possible spot to park too. It is a vault, and it is the Hoverstock vault. Huh. Didn't even know I would find this. Alright, let's get out, see what we can find out here. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button if you're into cemetery explorations and really interesting travel series. We are doing new videos every single Tuesday and every single Saturday. I'm trying to have them out at 8 a.m. It's been a little bit rough lately, but yeah, I'm gonna try my best to adhere to that schedule in the future here. So, all right, yeah, I don't think there's any other updates. Let's get out and check this out. So we've arrived at the very edge of this vault here. You can see it is the namesake of the cemetery as well, so clearly this is probably one of the first families in the area and maybe even had some leadership role. I'll try to look that up, maybe put something up on the screen here. You see Father Jacob, 1786 to 1868, so incredibly historic. Not sure if they were living around here for, honestly, I don't know how long. So, like I said, I'll have to look that up. We have William, 1815 to 1903. Margaret, 1820 to 1890. Phoebe, mother, 1790 to 1874. So, Jacob and Phoebe were born right around the American Revolution, just slightly afterwards, and grew up in a very, very new America. So it would have been an incredible experience. It looks, I'm not really quite sure what I'm looking at here. You can see a huge mound, which probably is the historic crypt area where all the remains are. However, I'm not sure if it was covered in grass in antiquity or not. It almost looks like, based on the way the gate, well, what appears to be a gate, you can see kind of that there may have been a hinged gate here at one time, so it almost looks like it was meant to walk into, but it's quite a small, cramped area. And there is, on the back of this statue work here, some engraving, which I'm assuming is Phoebe and Jacob, but it's hard for me to read it even on the camera screen, so I'm gonna try and get that when I get back. I'm assuming it's just the same information that's on the front. And yeah, there is so much here, and it's such an interesting place. I'm not even really sure which way to go. I think we'll maybe head this way to see a Woodman of the World monument up here. Excuse me. This is actually not the first time I've been to this area either. I used to have a friend that lived around here. Not quite sure exactly where it would be from here, but wouldn't that be interesting to run into them after all these years? Doubtful. Yeah, Lydia here says wife of, looks like C.E. Hopping. Hopping Arner, excuse me. Died March 31st, 1892. And an interesting one, you see a little potted plant here, and I'm gonna go out on a whim and say that is a potted alocasia or possibly an anthurium. You can actually tell by the shape of the leaves, and if you look it up you might see it, and then by the way it's the new growth is coming up. So I'm not sure though, because this actually looks like maybe like a peace lily flower as well though. So let me know what your thoughts are if you have any plant people here. On the top here there's been a few stones laid, including this one here. You know, I thought that maybe it was colored on. It does look to have a lot of different colors, but I think that might be some bird excrement actually. Let's see, right here we have, ooh, I'm getting attacked by something. Oh, well that's okay. I got hit by some killer ladybugs apparently. So they're gonna go for a ride for a little bit, I guess, on me. We have the grave of Susan Weaver here, 1897. Another interesting one. It has shifted on the base. And I'm not really quite sure how it's actually twisted. So it's almost like it's been hit, but I don't see any damage. I suppose if it was like maybe super heavy rains and then the temperature dropped and there's like water underneath, that it could expand maybe and cause it to do a movement like that. I don't know. Again, if you think that you know, chime in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. And what in the world is in this tree? What? There's just a big mass of something. It might be other limbs that have fallen. Almost looks like somebody's created like a little stealth treehouse. It's huge though. It's at least, I'd say, 6 feet across by 6 feet. I don't know. And of course, the very first person to drive by chose to do so right as I was staring intently up in the tree. So I'm sure I now look like a insane person. James Crow and Lydia Crow here. James 1901, age 65, and Lydia 1925, aged 83. And then this looks like a continuation of the family here. See, Martin L., son of J. and L. Crow. So James and Lydia, 1891, age 16 years. And then this is another one. It's definitely a son, Joseph. Alright, I'm gonna have to whip out the flashlight here and see if I can get a date. That's really difficult. Let's see if maybe I can get it after the fact. A lot of wear and tear over the years, and a lot of lichen growth as well. Let's see, Peter. This one they actually spelled it out. It says son of James and Lydia. And again, I think it says 1887. Then, okay, Laura Crow, wife of Calvin, which is to the right here, 1867 to 1912, and then Calvin 1861 to 1933. And then what's kind of interesting here is they just have a family marker here in the center, down the row from a very similar one that they had used in the past, and so it looks like they actually kind of planned out using this style again to extend their family section over here to Savalia, or yeah, I think that's a Savalia crow, 1890 to 1929, wife of CE, which is, wait, CE, I think they meant CM, or the M's wrong, maybe, because this is on the same exact thing. And Carrie M. Crow, 1890 to 1961, 1890 to 1929, I would say almost certainly just a spelling mistake, or maybe he had multiple middle names and all of the initials were not included. I don't know. And here so part of this row actually turns around the other way. And Gerald Bailey, 1912 to 1914. Notice this, I was going to try and find a different section. It's difficult for me to see what all is historic and what is not. A lot of this looks historic. I'm not seeing any veterans markers, but I did see this here. I see Corporal H.H. Diffendorfer, 101st Indiana Infantry, and clearly has been cleaned recently as a brilliant white, so it's nice to see. It's obviously dangerously close to the root growth of this tree, so it's leaning a little bit already, but clearly they know about it and are working to maintain its integrity. But yeah, another one, it's just so difficult to know which way to go, and then there's another section across the street here, and it almost seems like some of it looks newer, but a lot of it is just really historic. Wycliffe here, Branson, 1856 to 1930, and Della M, 1861 to 1927. Let's walk this way. I see some really interesting shaped stones here. Again, I apologize, I know my focus is, the camera has been a little bit out of whack recently, and that's going to be all fixed here. I put some orders in for some equipment to fix all those issues and get back to the newer camera, so shouldn't be really having any problems with any focus issues in the future here. This looks again like it was one that was kind of designed. I don't think there's actually, if there is writing on it, it's very faint. Let's shine the, yeah, I don't think there's actually writing on this. You can see Besser at the top here, and then two smaller stones. This one says father, the other says mother. And then Henry Besser, 1908 looks like, is what it looks like. And then on the other side, mother here, Sarah Besser. Looks like 1900, and too much lichen growth. It looks 79, I think, is the age. I think I spotted another Woodman of the World, somewhat unique one that we don't see very often. I'm not sure if it actually is Woodman of the World or not. This one obviously is not. This is Gaskill here, Ruth E. 1879 to 1963, and Walcher 1879 to 1948. And right over here is what I'm talking about. We'll make our way that way. Looks like we might have some. Oh, here we have a. It's like several people in prominent positions here in Indiana. Indiana State Assembly Women's Club President 1962 to 1968, and on the other side, Indiana State Senator 1939 to 1965. So let's go ahead and walk around and see the names on this. So here we are at the front. See Eichhorn, Von A. Pat. I see that's a nickname there. So Pat, 1906 to 1993, and Myrtle, 1908 to 1999. And I'm assuming that based on the writing on the other side of this is the state senator, and then on the other side of this is the president of the women's club, and so I would say that's their respective roles in this case. And then it says parents of Mary Jane, I'm not sure, Enid Marie. Maybe these are all children, like Mary, Jane, Enid, Marie, Gloria, and Thomas. But it almost looks like there's, you can see little holes, like they put commas or periods. And some of them, so it might be Mary Jane as a name, and then Enid, Marie, and then Gloria, and then Thomas. Let me know what you think.